All right, everybody. Good evening. It's Rebecca with Red True Crime. Those of you who have not joined me before, I am a wannabe YouTube true crime podcaster. So I've been at this about 8 months, and I usually talk about local crimes and some historical stuff here and there. But excuse me, sorry. Anyway, so today, or this evening, I want to talk on the Georgia school shooting that happened today, and it's insane. I can actually kind of remember when there weren't when there wasn't a thing as school shootings. This in Winder, Georgia. I mean, everyone remembers Columbine. I remember Paducah and Little Rock. Was it Stockton, California? Was one of the earliest ones I remember. And I just don't understand why this keeps happening. I mean, I get it. I just wish it would stop happening because, I mean, thank God my kids are out of school. They're adults. But I can't think of a time, every time a school shooting happened when they were in school, I wanted to yank them out so bad and homeschool. And that's not the answer. I mean, it's just not the answer at all. And it's weird. I'm looking at Wikipedia for the school shooting list, and it says this is the latest accepted version reviewed on September 5th, 2024. So, yeah. They've got, and what they consider school shootings is where anybody, four or more deaths, including any perpetrators that died during the shooting. And, like, Blacksburg, Virginia in 2007, this I believe was at Virginia Tech. 33 people died on that one. I remember this one. This one happened on my birthday. Newtown, Connecticut. So this would be Sandy Hook. Now that one I think could have been prevented severely because you're dealing with an autistic adult. The mother introduced guns to this kid, had him all over the house, collected him, took him out skeet shooting or target practice, and you didn't know what was going on in his mind most of the time. And don't come down on me about people who are autistic because I know my oldest child is autistic. So I think I get to speak on this from a different perspective than just the random person who's commentating on differently abled people or people with intellectual disabilities and weapons. I mean, I would never let my child have a weapon. No, because he's impulsive. He gets angry. These are things that um, you have to look out for with somebody like on the spectrum. Sandy Hook, you think it was staged? I don't know about that. Sandy Hook wasn't. I don't believe it was staged. Nobody would stage killing first graders. That's crazy. Um, but that one, I do believe that could have been prevented because to this day, no one knows why he did that. He never went to that school. He killed his own mother before he went over there. I mean, there's just so much to unpack from that. There really is. And you know, let's see what else we got on this list. I can talk about. My iPhone's not wanting to work right. Sorry. I don't want the pending changes. I want the school shooting list. Okay. Oh God, Uvalde. That one. That one was a travesty because that never should have happened. Those cops sitting out there watching, not doing anything, that was absolutely crazy. 22 people died in that one. And that was just, I mean, that seems like that was just yesterday. That was 2 years ago. Um, oh, yeah, the Texas shooting. Now, this one's from 1966. This is where people, the saying, going crazy, shooting from a clock tower. Yeah, the University of Texas, Austin, former student was just shooting people from a clock tower. Crazy. Killed 18 people on that one. I think that one is really the earliest one that people refer to with shootings. Um, and in Parkland in Florida, another one that kids are fleeing, cops are just standing there. What's happening here? Give me a reason why this keeps happening. Um, well, in Columbine, I remember when Columbine happened, 1999. I think that was the one where everyone really paid attention. Like, why is this happening? How could this happen? Let me talk about Columbine because Dylan Klebold and I forget his partner's name. What was his name? Let's see, Eric Harris. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. They're a prime example of families not being families anymore. Both my parents, they worked, but like they were business owners, and my mom kept tabs on me still. Knew what I was doing. Even once I got into college, she still kept tabs on me. And I think with the invention or the implementation of technology into our everyday lives, phones, games, computers, iPads, iPhones, whatever. I mean, it used to be like you're letting the TV raise your kids. Now it's everything else. And I think because the economy got to the point where you couldn't have one parent stay home and one parent work and still live a somewhat decent life, I think that brought the downfall of the family. I think it did. To the point where kids were raising themselves. And I think this is now why we are seeing more and more apathetic people that have no problem shooting somebody or killing somebody or injecting harm on somebody. I mean, I just don't understand. Um, oh, thank you, Max. I just don't understand why this keeps happening. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about this, and he said, it's the gun laws. It would make it way too easy to get your hand on a gun. And Alan Dershowitz was talking about this earlier on his podcast that he does. He said, the right to bear arms. I mean, that was not like for a 14-year-old who did the shooting today in Georgia to go get a gun and go and shoot your school up. That was not the point of it. I mean, the right to bear arms was simply because when the colonies were here, before we were our own independent nation, right before the Revolutionary War, they were forbidden to have arms. They couldn't bear arms. That's why it's part of the Constitution, the right to bear arms. And one of the things that they revolted against with England to get that right to be able to govern themselves and to protect themselves. And I think the right to bear arms has just gotten so blown up and used for some. I mean, I guess people use that right to bear arms and they open it up to whatever interpretation they mean. Meaning, well, I have a right to buy a gun and shoot that person in the head, or hey, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of guns and not keep an eye on them and let somebody else just get a hold of them and go shoot somebody. I mean, so many kids get killed at home because guns are not properly stored. And I was I mean, off of the gun thing, just the apathy. I was watching a little bit of a story earlier today about the Slenderman killer. Yeah, it is a drive-by reality. It's true. Um, these girls, they became obsessed with Slenderman and said that, they needed to have a sacrifice to Slenderman. So they stabbed their friend 19 times. Thank God the girl survived, but where is where's the raising of our kids? Where is this all going? So I was telling my friend earlier today, I was like, I treat my kids just like they were when they were two. If they're quiet, they're up to no good. I mean, just like Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, they were in garages building pipe bombs and Mom and dad were like, oh, they're being, we don't know what they're doing in there, but they're not bothering nobody, so we're not going to bother them. Maybe if they went downstairs or went to the garage and said, hey, what are you guys up to? Maybe I can help. We'd have had an idea of what they were about to do. Now, I'm all about giving your kids space, but then there's giving them space, and then there's just, oh, well, I have a kid and they're in the house, but I have no idea what they like or what they're up to. You know, I truly believe these school shootings need to fall more on the parents' responsibility. That's just how I feel. You know, I mean, another person said, it's the video games, video games, video games. I don't know if you can blame everything on video games. I mean, I think the root problem is at home. If people and you can't blame people for that because not everybody can afford to stay home and take care of their kid. Like one person stay home, one person work. I mean, there is the thing of the single parent. I mean, not everybody can afford to do that. So then that goes into the economy itself. What can we do better as a nation to keep a parent home with their kids to make sure that they understand the rights and wrongs and how the world works, Because right now I'm just so worried that we're raising a generation after generation of sociopaths. It's insane. I worry about that constantly. Like, case in point, my daughter's best friend has a 2-year old. And she was up over at this little boy's house, for his birthday party. And her friend was back and forth about whether to let him go to school or for her to homeschool him. And I didn't understand. It's preschool, it's finger painting and eating glue. What's the big deal? And I was told that she was stressing about making sure he knew these 3 things, like his name, how to spell it, his phone number, and how to play hide and go seek. And I looked at my daughter and said, why does he need to know how to play hide and go seek before he starts school? I mean, that's a basic game. And you can teach it to him in 3 seconds. And she said, no, they need to know it before they start. I said, okay, why? I don't understand. She said, because, Mom, that's how they teach young children active shooter drills. Hide and go seek. You play the game and you say, you be quiet, you don't say a word. That's how you teach them. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That was crazy. Being told that hide and go seek is how they train young children or teach young children how to hide from a gunman, an active shooter. And that for me just did it. I mean, it's like childhood no longer exists, innocence no longer exists. And it's like, what has this world come to? What has this world come to? There was a shooting, and I'm trying to see if I can interview this guy, working on it. But back where I'm from, in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, when I was junior, going into my senior year of high school, there was this guy named Clay Shrout. He woke up one morning and murdered his entire family, his parents, his 2 younger sisters, and then went to school and held his trigonometry class hostage with a gun. Now, granted, he's not considered a school shooter because he didn't kill anybody at school. He just held them hostage. But it was eye-opening. And to this day, no one really knows why he did what he did. He's still alive. He got life in prison because his grandparents begged the judge to keep him alive because Kentucky had just passed a law stating that if you commit the crime of an adult, you'll be charged as an adult. And he would have been the first case since they enacted that rule. And the judge went ahead and just let him do life because, as they said, yes, we know he killed these people, but we don't want to lose anybody else. So I get that. And Clay Shrout is somebody I like I said, I'm trying to get an interview with him, and I will be doing a video on him, even if I don't get the interview. But I'd like to get the interview because see if he's willing to talk more about why he did what he did and what possessed him. But Yeah, like I said, these school shootings, I don't get it anymore. You can't go to a movie theater anymore. You can't go to a political rally. You can't go to Walmart. You can't go to church. I mean, I'm all about people defending themselves, but I would love to know why this 14-year-old kid today decided to go into school and shoot well, he shot 13 people. Four are dead, nine are injured. That's the last count I saw. It might be more, might be less, I don't know. But why? School just went back in, and he's 14, which means he's probably a freshman in high school. You can't be that terrified of school, my dude. And my thing is, if he had that kind of anxiety to where he was going to go in with a gun and start shooting people, mom and dad should have picked up on that right before that. They should have. At least I would hope they would. But apparently they didn't. So, or like the case in Michigan where the school was sending notes home. We got a problem. We got a problem with your son. And he brought a gun to school that day, and the school was suspending him, and the parents were in the office talking to the principal about suspending him and kicking him out. And he decided to take the gun out and start shooting people. They actually charged his parents in that, which I'm glad they did, because they completely ignored that this kid needed help. He was drawing disturbing things and everything. It's like, what more do you need? You know, um, you know, kids who torture animals for fun, kids who like to set fires, kids who just like seeing pain in other people. These are the signs that you have a sociopath slash possible serial killer on your hands. And I think these school shooters kind of fall into that category too, because you're just shooting people and you don't really give a damn if you kill anybody. And that's a problem, you know. And I'm sorry, these guns should not be this kind of accessible to anybody. They shouldn't be. But I would love to hear anybody's comments or questions on that, because, like I said, I'm glad my kids are done with school. At some breaking point, I would have yanked them out. I know I would have. Okay, Stacy. So my guess when I heard bullying, some kids are vicious. There we go. Kids don't know how to cope, how to make friends, or how to deal with human interaction. I get, yeah, I agree with you on that, Stacy, because that was one thing I've talked about. Because with the uptick of school shootings, you've got an uptick of teenage suicide, and sometimes it kind of goes into both. I'm sorry, I should have said self-deleting. I have to get used to this YouTube lingo, but and I remember I got bullied. I got bullied when I was in school. And the thing was, back when I was in school, back in the days of the dinosaurs, you could get away from your bully. Once you got home, you were home. Yeah, I bet. I agree. I bet you can't wait till he gets out. But like when you got bullied, you got home, you were safe. You didn't, if people called you and harassed you, you just took the phone off the ringer and that was it. You might get a mean note passed to you in class. Now, with the advent of social media and cell phones and everything, it's like these kids are surrounded by constant torment, by constant people who just want to just make them feel bad about themselves. There is no getting away from it. And I think that's the one reason why there's been so much self deletion here over the last 5 years, you know, because you got Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, kids don't play anymore for the most part. They play online. They don't know how to interact. Yes, I agree with that too. Kids do not know how to interact, and adults don't either anymore. I mean, we've all, we're looking at the phone or the tablet or the TV for entertainment or whatever. I mean, it's like there is no interaction anymore with people. There really isn't. It is very sad. So, but I don't have an answer for any of you all about school shootings and how to stop them. I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did. I wish I could just wave a magic wand and make it all stop, but I don't have that answer. But I truly do feel that if we had a better economy, people were able to make more money and have a decent living, you might have more family involvement with their kids. Maybe less dependency on electronics. Just a thought I have, but who knows? That's just one plausible scenario. But on that note, I'm going to hop off here. It is late. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on Georgia today. It's a sad, sad situation. It really is. And it's unfortunate. I'm sure that number will probably change to more injured, more dead. I hope not, but it most likely will. Especially those teachers, they just want to go do their job. Everything is shocking. I mean, my daughter was going to college to be a teacher, and she dropped out of it. She was like, "Mom, I don't want to get shot." And I don't say I blame her. So, oh gosh. Well, if you like what I'm saying, please hit the like button. It'll add the algorithm and send this to people to check it out and hear what I have to say. If you have any cases you want me to cover, please send me a message on my Facebook page or on here. And yeah, subscribe, like, share, comment, criticize, threaten, whatever. Rather you not threaten, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's all I got. So this is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Thank you for tuning in and listening to my 2 cents. Be weird, be rude, be safe. As I say, if you're weird and rude, people will not take you. I truly believe that. So thank you again, everyone. Have a great night. Be safe. Don't get shot. And that's all I got. Bye.